Hi, I'm Rachel Morgan, and this is the story of how my sister Claire's obsession with status and greed became her downfall. Sometimes the person who speaks the least is the one you need to watch most closely. Claire learned this the hard way. I grew up in my grandmother Rose's antique shop, surrounded by timeless treasures, breathing in the history of every carefully preserved piece. While Claire was busy winning beauty pageants and collecting academic awards, I was learning the stories behind centuries-old jewellery and rare collectibles. Grandma Rose always said, "Rachel, you have an old soul. True value isn't always obvious at first glance." I didn't realise then how prophetic her words would become. Claire was the golden child, master's degree in business, thriving in real estate, married to the perfect husband. Building the dream house, I was the quiet one, spending weekends in the shop, taking online courses in art history and appraisal. "You're wasting your life with all that old junk," Claire would sneer at family dinners, her diamond bracelet glittering. "You need to think bigger." But I could see what others couldn't. Every antique carried a story, a hidden value, waiting for someone patient enough to recognize it. Grandma Rose saw it too. While Claire climbed the social ladder, I learned the art of authenticating antiques, building relationships with collectors, and, most importantly, understanding patience. Everything changed when Grandma Rose got sick. Stage 4 cancer. One evening she called me to her hospital bed. "Racho, there's something you need to know about the shop," she whispered. Before she could finish, Claire burst in, trailing designer perfume and forcing her way into the conversation. "Grandma, the specialist I found in New York can see you next week," she said, all business. The next months were a blur of treatments, hospital visits, and tensions. Claire flaunted her money and contributions while I quietly sat by Grandma's side, absorbing every last story she wanted to teach me. Days before her passing, she gave me a small key. "Don't tell anyone until the right time," she whispered. I tucked it away, unaware how critical it would become. The will reading came a week after the funeral. I arrived early, in my simple black dress, the one Claire always mocked. Claire arrived last, flawless in designer wear, her husband James at her side. "Let's begin," said Mr. Patterson, the lawyer. He read Grandma's words. "The antique shop, its inventory and property, all left to me." Claire turned red. "This is ridiculous. Rachel can barely pay rent. She'll ruin everything Grandma built." But Mr. Patterson continued. "Claire would receive a substantial cash inheritance, but only if the shop remained under my ownership for 5 years. "This is absurd," Claire shouted. "Rachel's been stealing from the shop for months. I have proof." She slammed a folder on the desk. Security footage, inventory reports, missing deposits. James stepped forward, solemn. "As a financial advisor, I confirm these irregularities are serious." I froze. The evidence looked damning, yet I knew Grandma Rose had prepared for this. Claire accused me of theft, insisting she'd contest the will. I walked out, clutching the small key, a plan already forming. That night, I reviewed everything Grandma had taught me. Patience, hidden value, the importance of timing. Claire thought she had won, but she'd forgotten the antique business's most crucial lesson. Everything valuable leaves a trail. The next morning, I arrived at Timeless Treasures at sunrise. Quietly, I unlocked Grandma's hidden safe behind a Victorian painting, the one Claire always dismissed. Inside were leather-bound ledgers, USB drives, and a sealed envelope addressed to me. The truth lay within. At 9 a.m., Claire stormed in with James and their lawyer. "We can settle this quietly, sign over the shop, no charges," she smirked. I smiled. "First, you should see what's in Grandma's safe." I laid out the ledgers and USB drives. Grandma kept 2 sets of books, one public, one for her special collection. "Those missing deposits you found? They were legitimate consulting fees." Claire's face twisted in disbelief. I plugged in a USB showing video records of major authentications, including work James had tried to pass off as genuine. "You can't prove this," Claire whispered. "Oh, I can," I said. "The audit you ordered, it alerted Grandma's real lawyer. The FBI and SEC are already involved." Claire slumped, defeated. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you never understood Grandma's legacy," I said. "She built trust, expertise, and a reputation. You tried to steal it. But she prepared me to protect it." I opened the sealed envelope. Inside, documents revealing Claire's construction loans were being misused, and Grandma had left me not only the shop, but her private authentication business and client list. Through the windows, I saw police cars arriving. Chaos erupted. James tried to escape but was stopped. Claire screamed about family betrayal, but the FBI focused on Grandma's safe. By evening, I was alone, my hands brushing Grandma's desk, messages from collectors and investigators buzzing on my phone. 3 months later, I stood at Claire's dream house foreclosure auction. James faced federal charges. Claire couldn't manage her mortgages. I won the auction effortlessly. Timeless treasures flourished. The antique shop remained charming, while the authentication business thrived. Occasionally, I receive postcards from Claire, now selling timeshares in Florida. I keep them in a vintage box, but don't respond. Closing the shop, I look at Grandma Rose's portrait. "You were right," I whisper. "True value isn't always obvious at first glance." Last week, I accepted an invitation to speak at an international antiquities conference, reflecting on appearances and hidden value. The shop thrives. I've found peace. Revenge wasn't about destruction. It was about preserving what matters and letting karma handle the rest. Grandma Rose was right. The quiet ones in the family aren't weak. They see everything, understand patience, and know exactly when to open the safe. Claire tried to steal a shop, but she lost everything. The quiet one, she built an empire. As Grandma always said, the most valuable things are often hidden in plain sight. And sometimes the best revenge is proving that the quiet one was quietly building an empire all along.